Fam, what's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining today. Today is Monday, December 23rd. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? Coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, once again, as we continue our coverage going into the ReliaQuest Bowl. Kyle Henderson, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining us once again. There's a lot to dive into. Today, we're going to continue to break down Alabama football, talk about roster intel, talk a little bit about, roster management going into the ReliaQuest. And I think coming off 5 additions to the transfer portal, there is still a lot to dive into. So I appreciate you guys being here. We have T up in the house. T, what's up?
Good morning, everyone.
We have T coming to you, and I think a really good. So what I did yesterday was I wanted to ask what was on your mind. So the show is going to work in terms of like I am answering your questions today, and I think one of the spots that I really wanted to get to was news that happened yesterday, talking about Kadyn Proctor, and I think to the news surrounding Kadyn Proctor. It's certainly noteworthy news because is Kadyn Proctor going to play in this ReliaQuest Bowl? I think a lot of people just want to, understand that information. So yesterday, or I think a couple days ago, there was a report that Kadyn Proctor will be missing the ReliaQuest Bowl. I think Rivals had that story, and so did 24/7. Now, not all sites have said that he is completely out. I think that On3 hasn't confirmed that if he's going to play or not. So we are still watching Kadyn Proctor in terms of the ReliaQuest Bowl. So right now, I would say maybe questionable for the ReliaQuest Bowl. I wouldn't say out, and that's something that we are continuing to track. I think actually that's good news because when I found out, or when I read the initial report that Kadyn Proctor would be out, I was concerned, as I'm sure you are, talking about the right tackle position. Like, does that mean that Pritchett and Formby would be starting against Michigan? Now, again, that could happen. So the team, once they get to Tampa and we start to practice, we will keep you posted on the right tackle position. But Kadyn Proctor seen it practice yesterday. Does that mean he's going to play in the ReliaQuest Bowl? I don't know. But I guess we'll continue to, track that as news happens. So if you're out there and you're worried about Kadyn Proctor, if he's going to practice or play or not, I think it's still kind of up in the air. But look, 24/7, Rivals have the story that he's not going to play. So let's just continue to track that. But Alabama football literally posted a picture of him yesterday. This is the photo courtesy of the University of Alabama. So I know you guys are interested in that. That's why I wanted to get to it just from the jump. And Caleb inside the comment box just straight up asked, he's like, if Kadyn Proctor doesn't play, who will fill in at the left tackle position? And I think it's pretty obvious if you follow the roster detail, if Kadyn Proctor does not end up playing in this game, I think it's concerning. I 1,000,000% think that Alabama has to beat the brakes off Michigan, okay? But that would mean that you have Formby starting and probably Elijah Pritchett. And I think you might put Formby at the left tackle position and Pritchett at right. I don't know. So that is something that we are definitely tracking. And T, I think we got can we just shout out Patriot Life inside the comment box?
Seriously, he's one of our strongest supporters. He's been here for how long now?
Well, it says 11 months there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been a member for 11 months, and we just really appreciate him.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Patriot Life. And, if you have questions inside the comment box and if they're not featured on these graphics, feel free to add them inside the comment box and we'll get back to them as we can right here on Bama Football on YouTube. T, when you see it on your screen, could you read out this next graphic? You have Nikai Hill-Green pictured, who is a commitment from Colorado out of the transfer portal. Very important pickup inside the inside linebacker position. We got a message coming in from Cable Grace.
Yeah, Cable's asking you to talk about the inside linebacker room for next season, since we're probably losing Lawson, Campbell, and Jefferson.
Yeah, I think when you look to Alabama's roster detail and you look to the inside linebacker position, I had labeled this a high area of concern, the inside linebacker, because as you look on this next graphic, when you look to Alabama's inside linebacker room, Nikai Hill-Green, now he was just added recently this weekend, but before that, you only have Deontay Lawson, Jeremiah Alexander, Justin Okoronkwo, Caden Jones, and QB Reese. I think a lot of people sometimes forget about QB Reese because he didn't play that much this season. But outside of that, I have this room probably at a B+. Had it at a B before Nikai Hill-Green. Now, as you can see, after Deontay Lawson, there's not a lot of returners. Now, a couple points that I want to point out. Number one, I don't know if Deontay Lawson's returning for sure. I would imagine he does, considering he was injured this year. Let me ask you inside the comment box. T, you could ask this too. Are we all on board that we think Deontay Lawson comes back for 2025? I would say yes. So type yes if you think he's coming back. Type no inside the comment box if you don't think he's coming back. I think the injury kind of set him back from going in the NFL. Now, does he have NFL talent? 1,000,000%. My goodness. But then after that, let's say Deontay Lawson was to leave too, and Jahad Campbell and Justin Jefferson. Well, then you have Nikai Hillgreen coming in with really a young inside linebacker room that has limited experience. So if Deontay Lawson leaves, I think that would be concerning. Now, I know what's also on your mind is Justin Jefferson, because he was junior college transfer. Being that Diego Pavia fought back for extra availability and won, does that mean that Justin Jefferson could do the same? Yeah, it does. I haven't heard anything that Justin Jefferson will ask for more, like another year here at Alabama, but I think if he does, that would be a hell of an addition to the inside linebacker room. So don't have the detail on Justin Jefferson, but could he ask for another year? For sure, 100%. But here's your look at the inside linebacker room. What are they saying about Deontay Lawson, T?
I think a lot of people think he will be back.
Yeah, I think so, which is great. I mean, think about it. He's a captain. You get a captain back, and then you pair him up with Nikai Hillgreen, who we talked about, this weekend. Really good linebacker from Colorado, has a lot of experience. He was at Charlotte. He was at Michigan.
Patriot Life.
Patriot Life is in with a hell of a super chat, T.
Wow. He's saying Merry Christmas to both of you. Always proud to support you guys. Roll Tide Roll.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Patriot Life. And, one thing that I wanted to say, too, and if we could get, we have 292 up in the house. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But could we also compound that with a Roll Tide to Jenny Cagney? I want to continue to lift her up in our spirits. She is a Roll Tide fan. You've probably seen her on your favorite Facebook Alabama channels. You see her inside the comment box. She is battling stage 4 cancer. As you know, people are going through different things at different times. The holidays are hard. So if you could give her a Roll Tide Jenny, or just hit the emoji, which is a pink ribbon, we would appreciate that. Jenny, we're thinking about you. We love you. We're praying for you. And Patriot Life, thank you to, continuing to support us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being up in the house. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week with your family. If you're traveling, if you're staying at home, if you're hosting, my wish for you is a low stressness, and that you enjoy the time with your family. All right, we have another question in. This is from Red Cannon T. When you see it, could you read it out?
Yeah, Red wants to know, how big of a pickup is Isaiah Horton from Miami? Will he play a big role next year in the Tides offense?
Yeah, look, this was another prospect that committed to Alabama from the transfer portal this weekend. We talked about him for several days, because I think it was really exciting to get a wide receiver in, considering that you have 4 wide receivers transfer out. I think, and as I explained, Isaiah Horton is a different type of wide receiver that you get because of his size. You get him on the outside. I think he's going to be somebody that one of the quarterbacks can certainly target, specifically in the red zone. And when I was thinking about this, when you look to the wide receiver room this coming year, imagine all these guys are healthy. This is probably, in my opinion, an early look at one of the best wide receiver rooms in the entire country. Now, I know there's other schools that are going to have top wide receiving cores, but when you look to this group right here, Isaiah Horton, a vet. I'm leaning towards the fact that Jeremy Bernard stays, so another vet. Ryan Williams, but outside of that, when you look to this room, even though we know these guys are talented and capable of playing at this level, it still is a really inexperienced room, right? Jaylen Bach hasn't played wide receiver yet. Rico Scott, limited availability. Cole Adams saw a really good role until he got injured. Jaron Hamilton, haven't seen too much of him. Jalen Hill was injured. Bubba Hampton, injured, not going to be playing in the bowl game. Amari Jefferson, out for this bowl game. And then Latsier Brooks and Derek Meadows, while we were excited about them, they haven't played. So really what you got was a vet. You got an outside receiver. I would imagine Derek Meadows is the tallest wide receiver in the room, followed by Isaiah Horton. So you get a veteran wide receiver, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I list this as a 10 out of 10. I mean, Ryan Williams was quick to celebrate on social media, because when you bring in somebody like that, it takes pressure off you on the outside. So excited about what Isaiah Horton brings. And really, I mean, so far, the two, I'll be straight with you. The best transfers that Alabama has received so far is Isaiah Horton and Nikai Hillgreen. And then I'm probably going to go with either Kelby Collins or Cam Calhoun. That's just how I'm feeling at this point in time. And I still feel there are areas of need when you look to Alabama's overall roster management. Right tackle, still an area of concern for me. And I'm starting to think about the safety position. Now, Alabama had a safety come and visit from Baylor. I'll discuss more about that. And I started thinking about the safety room. And I was like, man, outside of Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard, and we're going to see King Mack play against Michigan because of injuries, but with Dre Kirkpatrick, maybe you do need another safety from the transfer portal. So I don't know. We'll continue to track that as well. T, we have another question coming in from Said Truth.
Said is asking, behind Ryan Williams, who do you think will have the most receiving yards next year? Maybe you can guess the order of productivity.
Yeah, I love breaking down this question. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Said. I hope you're out there checking this out, because I was like, man, this is a really good question. So what I did was I went back to 2023 Washington, and this is just my educated guess. You asked me, this is what I did. So I put the names in terms of the receiver values from 2023 Washington, because I strongly feel that this is going to be a completely different offense from 2024, like completely different in every sense of the way. So what I did was I put Ryan Williams up there with, does he catch 90 passes? Who knows? Maybe he catches 100. Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Jalen Hale, Cole Adams, Josh Cuevas. That's kind of how I see the wide receiver productivity. And when you look to Alabama's wide receivers, number one, these guys are talented, but when you compare it to 2023 Washington's team, you can see how many guys got the football. So don't think just because like Isaiah Horton comes in that he would take reps away from like a Jalen Hale. Look at this was amazing with 2023 Washington. I mean, you have 4 guys with over 40 receptions, right? And one guy with almost 100. And that was Rome Odunze, right? You saw him in the NFL too. So, and even if you put like Jaylen Bach, let's say he gets 20 receptions or something like that, he's going to get fed as well. But I think we do get our first taste of Jaylen Bach in this upcoming bowl game. But that's just how I'm kind of educated guesses. Your guess is as good as mine in terms of looking at the wide receiver numbers. I see Skylar, what's up, man? Saying Bach maybe wide receiver number 2. Who knows? This is going to be a very interesting experiment putting Bach on the other side. He's a playmaker. We saw him in high school do his thing. And guess what? You are going to see Jaylen Bach catch the football against Michigan. There's no denying that, because there's only 4 wide receivers that are healthy to play in this game. So you had to add Jaylen. This was the perfect time to add Jaylen Bach to the offensive side. He's clearly capable, playing on that side of the football. All right, we continue. Good question, by the way, in terms of the productivity. T, I have a question on Casey Concepion.
Yeah, first I think we got a super chat in from Angel real quick, and he's just saying how the playoff committee was on crack when they put those TCU teams in over certain other teams, and they got to fix the process.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the playoffs. I have some kind of on the back end of the show, I talk about kind of the playoffs and some of the thought process on that. But yeah, I think when you look to the playoffs in the first round games, they were terrible. No, there was nothing interesting about the first round of the playoff games. Nothing interesting. T, go ahead.
So D1 Bama is asking, do you think we still get Casey Concepion since we got Isaiah Horton?
No, I don't. But I have to do a quick segment. Remember on Wedding Crashers when he's like, "Mom, the meatloaf." Hey, Mom, Grandma, is there any way that you could turn on one of these backlights? I never know what she's doing back there. I never know. You remember Wedding Crashers? Yeah. Will Ferrell's like, "The meatloaf." Mom. Yeah, that looks great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I never know what she's doing. You want some meatloaf? Yeah. I'll have some meatloaf. Do I think Casey Concepion will come in? No, I don't. I think you got your wide receiver in Jaylen Bach, right? I think that with Jaylen Bach coming over, that was your additional wide receiver. And I don't think that Casey Concepion, now I haven't heard any reports out there. I haven't even heard an update on him, to be honest. But I think you got Isaiah Horton, and then after that, you got Jaylen Bach. So think of getting Mbakwe from corner to wide receiver. There's your addition at the wide position for a wide receiver. Do I think that Jaylen Bach is going to start? I don't know, but I think he's going to battle with Cole Adams and Ladzier Brooks and whoever else for that inside wide receiver position. Is he capable? Yeah, for sure. Jaylen Bach is a big dude too. So, Jason, from my understanding, that Alabama did offer Casey. I mean, why wouldn't you? But maybe KC was too late in terms of making that commitment. So I think that you got Isaiah. Look, even if you missed on Isaiah Horton, I still feel good about the wide receiver room. All right, I feel it's that talented. Getting him is an added bonus. Getting KC would be like straight ridiculous. I don't know where KC's going to go. I don't think it's going to be Alabama. Just my take. So. Good question, though, regarding Casey Concepion, because I know a lot of people have been asking about it, which leads us into our next question by Bama Probs. T.
Yeah, Bama Probs is asking how much will Mbakwe play at wide receiver and defensive backs?
Yeah, that's one of the, the biggest things that we'll be excited to see in 2025. Jaylen Bak, a very talented corner. I think that what's exciting about him coming to wide receiver is the fact that there's an open position battle for that slot wide receiver. And what's going to give Jaylen Bak an edge early on is him being healthy for the Rely Quest. So I would imagine that your 4 receivers for the Rely Quest are Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Mbakwe, and Rico Scott. And maybe some Jaron Hamilton, right? So you're going to see Jaylen Mbakwe like an early taste. And recently, Nick Sheridan was like, I think it's way too early to even understand what he could do because he literally just started practicing on offense. Look, some guys can just rise up. He's cut from the same cloth as Ryan Williams. I'm serious. Like, Ryan Williams is absolutely one of the best, if not the best wide receiver. Him and the other cat from Ohio State. The other freshman, which is crazy. Those are like the best wide receivers in the country. Jaylen Bak, this guy can play. So let's see what he can do against the Roulette Quest. And I wouldn't be like, man, if he doesn't like score a touchdown or catch 10 receptions, that he's not going to work out. It's just he's going to have an early opportunity to make a splash at that position because of the amount of injuries this season. And then I started thinking, I was like, well, will Jaylen Bak still play corner? Maybe he will. Look, Coach Saban didn't like to have players playing both ways. Kalen DeBoer is a completely different coach. We know that. And I don't think it's like Jaylen Bak was like, I want to play this and that. No, I think it's like he is that talented that he can play each side of the ball. Let's say he has 25 snaps at wide receiver. Let's say he has 25 snaps at corner. That's only 50 snaps. The guy can play, as many snaps as needed during a game. So Jaylen Bak, I'm as interested as you are for the Jaylen Bak situation. I love the Charles Woodson stories. I love the Travis Hunter stories. I like guys like that can play two ways. And if Jaylen Bak can do that here at the University of Alabama, he probably will. That's going to be amazing to see. And then also, like Matt Farms, talking about him maybe being that nickel corner. I was thinking about that too. Look, Jaylen Bak, I was like, have him at slot and also have him compete with Red Morgan and Deshaun Jones for that extra corner spot. Imagine if you transition Jaylen Bak there. Jaylen Bak could even play safety if he needed to, or corner, whatever. That's how good he is. Anyways, good question, though. I appreciate it. All right, see, we have another question coming in from Linda.
Linda's asking, what positions at this point does Bama need on offense and defense after the recent transfers? And do all the players get paid?
Yeah, I think all the players definitely do get paid in some way or another. I have no idea who's getting paid what, but the short answer is absolutely. I think there's different cases in college football where players who have made a ton of money from NIL, they're actually helping other players, like a Travis Hunter. According to Coach Prime, he's made so much money, he's helping other players on Colorado, like paying for those guys, which is amazing to think about that's even happening. Here's a look at the overall grades where I have Alabama right now at this point in time as of December 23rd. Quarterback B+, limited experience, right? Just because none of these guys have really played at all. I mean, even Ty Simpson, that's not a lot of playing time coming back. Like the running back room, Jam and Justice, Jam and Richard. I need to get used to that. Tight end, look, lack of playmakers. You could question that. Then again, you could also say, well, Josh Cuevas could be that guy. So maybe we see Josh Cuevas continue, and he's trending the absolute right way. But it's been a while since Alabama's had like a straight up tight end that could be like the guy. I do like Josh Cuevas though. Wide receiver, probably A+ now that you got Isaiah Horton. Offensive line, need a right tackle. I know you got Cam Dewberry coming in. You got Kadyn Proctor returning, Parker Brailsford. There's something to be excited about with the offensive line, but until you get a right tackle fixed, I'm not going to be happy about it. Defensive line, bandit position, Wolf, inside linebacker. I've talked about those positions before. I'm starting to think about the safety position. Do you need another transfer there? And then special teams, you lose, Graham Nicholson and James Burnup. That's not going to be easy to replace. But I think in terms of what you need and what Alabama needs going forward, I think a right tackle, I guess maybe a safety. I don't think they're going to, target like a, tight end anymore because Danny Lewis is coming back. So there's kind of where things stand at this point in time. I mean, let me ask you, when you look to Alabama's team right now, is there anything else than a right tackle that Alabama needs? I don't know. I mean, Who won the Lou Groza? Can you go get that additional kicker? We have J-Bake inside the comment box with the question, T.
He's saying, Kyle, you may find this interesting. Dion basically said on the Rich
Eisen
show that we won't be in Green Bay for the draft. We're doing our own thing here with our student body.
I mean, look, Coach Prime is always doing different things. I mean, he's probably one of the few coaches in college football that can do stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know what he's going to do, but I do know that his son, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, will go early in the NFL draft, which would be great for Colorado and great for branding. Can you do that on a consistent basis like Alabama has done? I don't know. So excited to see what they do, I guess. But yeah, he's got a couple guys flying off the board. And then Kevin is saying, Kyle, is there a right tackle in the portal that you've liked that could fill that spot? I've seen a couple right tackles that I've liked. I don't know why Alabama hasn't gone after those guys. I'm sure Coach Kapilovic is way more qualified than me. Maybe that right tackle isn't in the portal yet. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I think 1,000,000% they need to get a right tackle. 100%, 1,000,000%, 1,000%, whatever you want to find it. I appreciate you guys being here. Hunter asking a perfect question is, look, maybe this is all kind of relating to Ty Haywood. If Ty Haywood, you're like, who the hell is Ty Haywood? Well, Ty Haywood is still committed to Alabama. He's a 5-star tackle. It doesn't seem like he's going to end up in this class, but he didn't decommit. I think with him he's signing in February. I don't know where he's going to go. I think Michigan is clearly making a push to get him alongside Bryce Underwood and build up their class. But if you can figure out things and you can get more, I don't know, gay Alabama memberships to pay for this kid, this guy's a beast. It must have been payday for the university on Saturday.
For real.
Right? Because, I mean, it was interesting to track the timeline. Jaylen Bach, he was going to go somewhere else. Alabama figures out how to keep him. Greg Byrne puts out that message that Alabama, they need to step up. You can look at it, are they poor? Whatever. Greg Byrne says they're not poor. Greg Byrne says, thank you to the new 800 that have signed up. Saturday, 3 guys in from the transfer portal. Thought that was interesting timing, how that all worked out. All right. We have another question in here from Chris Thames.
Sorry, I'm waiting for it to show up.
You can find it on if you just go to Canva.
Okay, yeah. Will this team be better under a more traditional style quarterback like Ty or Keelan for Kalen?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for the question. And I have all those. They're all organized. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good question. This is probably the biggest question going into this coming season, right? Will this be a better team and more traditional style of quarterback that operates this offense under Coach Kalen DeBoer? I would say yeah, and I still don't think that we've seen Coach Kalen DeBoer's full offense yet, and I think we do see that in 2025. I mean, we have to. I think that this upcoming season is the real season where we can really assess Coach Kalen DeBoer. The more that I think about it, and I've been critical on him as well because standards are high. This is Alabama, this and that, but this isn't like his true offense. He still has a lot of guys that were recruited by Saban. You still got to develop your own identity within the room, how you're running the program. And you have to have a quarterback that can run your offense. I don't think he did that this year. So going into this next season, this is a really huge season for Alabama. And the follow-up question, because I want to get to this next slide right here, is when you look to the competition in that quarterback room, what is that competition going to do overall for the position? You have 3 qualified guys coming in, clearly. I think there's a lot of people that want to see Ty get the job based on his own skill set. There's guys who want to see Keelan Russell come in because he's the #1 player in the country. And there's people that honestly like Austin Mack. This guy was brought in by Coach Kalen DeBoer, big quarterback, pro-style quarterback. There's another question that we have from then BMC that says, could there be a quarterback battle? 1,000,000%. I don't think anybody has won the job at all. And I don't think that it should be given to anybody just because they've been here or they're a great person. And I think Ty understands that. I think Austin understands that. I think Keelan understands that. These guys are competitors. There's been many times that we've been covering the football team where we just feel that the freshman who steps in is automatically the best guy for the job. Does that work out sometimes? For sure. But other times there's other guys who are straight up in the lab. I have seen, if you look closely, this Ty Simpson, look, He's always in the lab studying the playbook, understanding the game, waiting his turn. Just takes one season. And we've heard good things about Austin Mack too. I honestly feel that Austin Mack was the third quarterback on the depth chart this year over Dylan Lonergan. Probably doesn't matter at all. I just think that he's a better quarterback than Dylan. And I'm excited to see where Dylan goes. I really am. But let me ask you inside the comment box right now, just straight up tell me, who do you think is going to be the quarterback for the 2025 season? You think it's going to be Ty? You think it'll be Austin? You think it'll be Keelan? And getting back to this question, will this team be better under a more traditional style? I do think so. Yeah. You have a lot of different wide receivers that you have to utilize. And while this, I guess, video has been kind of heavy wide receiver wise, I'm going to talk about the running backs here in a second. I think when you have a quarterback that can spread the football out more, the running game is going to open more. Now, you don't get a right tackle. Maybe this is all for nothing, right? I mean, you don't get a tackle, you're going to be in some serious doo-doo, period. Or if these guys don't develop, what if you have think about this. What if you have the same issue that you had at the right tackle this coming year? Mm-hmm. What's going to change? Raise the bar. What's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. All right, moving to the next slide. I have a quarterback, looking at the overall quarterback room. I like the quarterback room. The only thing that is concerning about the room is they just don't have experience yet. That will change during the spring game. That will change when these guys are like physically the starters. But I do hope that Coach Kalen DeBoer names the starter as soon as possible. I don't think it can be determined in the spring, but it has to be determined in August. Like going into game number 1, I don't want a 2 quarterback platoon system. I want the guy, period. And he did that this year. All right. Coach Kalen DeBoer, we have a question by Red Cannon.
So Red asks, what expectations do you have for the Crimson Tide heading into the year 2 of the Kalen DeBoer era?
Just as I was saying, I think like my expectations are a better offense, more development, more consistency on the defensive side with Coach Kane Womack as well. I think that what we need to continue to see in year 2 is this team being more accustomed to playing on the road. And the road games this year are so hard. Going to Georgia, going to South Carolina. This guy lost 3 games on the road this past season. So expectations are for a better season. Expectations are for a continued high level recruiting. Expectations are for him to continue to do well in the transfer portal. I don't expect any of the assistant coaches to move on. I think that he's going to rock with the guys that he has unless they get other opportunities. But year 2 is the biggest year for Coach Kalen DeBoer. This year, we can be critical for seriously every single thing. Poor guy was judged for what he was wearing, right? Honestly, if you think about it, he dresses more like an NFL coach than a college coach. Nobody cares what Mike Tomlin's wearing or, Kyle Shanahan. They really don't. Nobody does. Because the NFL has figured these are the type of hoodies and things like that people want to buy. Plus, let the dude be comfortable in his own skin. Year 2 is a big year. You don't make the playoffs in year 2, which I think is going to be really hard for Alabama to do. I'll be straight. Honestly, if I had to tell you right now, I don't know if this team makes the playoffs next year. I really don't. Looking at their schedule, not because they're not one of the best 12 teams, but if they don't finish 1 or 2 in the SEC, this team will not make the playoffs again. 1, 2, 3, 4. The SEC is punished based off the playoff rules. You don't take the best 12. We've learned that. This coming weekend, on Saturday, Arizona State and Boise have bye games. That's how broken this system is. So I could tell you Boise's going to make the playoffs, then we're UNLV. I could tell you Oregon because of their schedule, and I could tell you Notre Dame. That's 3 playoff teams right now, and we're in December 23rd, 2024. That's a broken system. All right, here's a look at Alabama's schedule, and this kind of backs up why I think it's going to be very challenging for Alabama to make the playoffs. I'm not talking, down on Alabama. This is the facts. This team could be better than last year's team, but I think they'll be much better on offense. But the problem is this schedule, not the first 3 games. It has nothing to do with the out-of-conference games. So when you're reading all your stuff, has nothing to do with your out-of-conference games. Nothing. Florida State, Alabama will beat them. Did you see they got Deuce Robinson? That was a nice pickup, by the way, by Florida State. Okay, Florida State, not it. Louisiana Monroe, not it. Wisconsin, not it. Alabama will beat the absolute brakes off all these teams, okay? At this point in time, they'll probably be ranked number 1 in the country. They'll set it up that way, or number 2 because of a TV rating matchup with Georgia, okay? They're going on the road to Georgia. Coach Kaylen DeBoer has struggled on the road so far in the SEC. It doesn't matter who you're playing in the SEC. It's going to be challenging. Played at Athens. Alabama has beaten Georgia the last 9 out of 10 times. Kirby Smart is pissed, okay? He wants to do everything in his power to beat Alabama in this game. After that, you got Diego Pavia again, okay? Then you take on Missouri. Missouri just got their quarterback yesterday from the transfer portal. You got Tennessee. Tennessee beat Alabama last season. They'll have a good defense. The quarterback, I'm still not confident in this guy. So who knows? Maybe they beat Tennessee. South Carolina on the road is going to be hard. This coach is good. Shane Beamer's good. Imagine if they get like Justice Haynes or something like that. I don't even know where Justice Haynes has been going. Has anybody seen where Justice Haynes is going? No one's been talking about him. Antoine, what's up, man? I appreciate you being in here. Brian, what's going on, man? Gabe, what's going on? Quincy, good morning to you. I hope you guys are having an amazing week going into Christmas. And then you have Garrett Nussmeier. Then you have Oklahoma, their new quarterback, right? Meeks. You got Eastern Illinois, and then you have the Haunted Barn. That's a hard schedule. Is this team going to be good? Yeah, this team's going to be really good. Juice is saying that Justice Haynes is playing lacrosse at Florida State. Him and Tyler Buckner are going to go head to head. All these games are hard. This team will be good, probably better than this last season now that Coach Kaylen DeBoer has a year under his belt. But, if they don't finish number 2 or number 3 in the SEC, they're not making the playoffs. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter based off this play design. You imagine if Alabama doesn't make the playoffs 2 years in a row? Man, I mean, Alabama is penalized. All these teams are penalized from playing in the SEC. All right, next up, we have Aaron with the question.
He's asking, would you agree that Coach KD has done better than he was realistically supposed to? 9-3 in your first year in the SEC with a pretty difficult schedule. I think that's really, really good.
Yeah, good question. So then I started thinking about it, and I listed out kind of Coach Kaylen DeBoer, and I just put these 7 quick things together. So let's look at it, okay? Kind of the good and bad. I love to look at both sides of the coin. Okay, miss the playoffs, kills, right? Like that's like unforgivable here at Alabama, right? I've only covered this is my second year not covering the playoffs. Okay. It's only happened, and I've covered the team 8 years. And you have 12 teams now. That's huge. 2 unranked losses. Huge. The loss to Oklahoma is forever going to sit in our mouth as being bad. You didn't lose on like a last second field goal. You straight up got beat like by Oklahoma. Like that was terrible in every sense of the word. 3 road losses. That sucks. Losing to Vandy, losing to Tennessee, losing to Oklahoma, all on the road, all in the SEC. Terrible. Okay. You did finish undefeated at home. So you gotta win the games at home. Coach Kaylen DeBoer mentioned how important that was for him. They did that. They beat Auburn and LSU. Look, Ryan Day can't beat Michigan. The guy's hanging on by a shoestring, and he just beat Tennessee in the playoffs. He probably lose to Michigan again next year. You got to beat the biggest rival. Coach Kaylen DeBoer beat that game against Auburn was probably the biggest game that Coach Kaylen DeBoer has coached in at Alabama. If he would have lost that game, you imagine what would have happened to Alabama fan base in terms of his approval rating. So he beat Auburn, took care of business, beat the little brother. He's good to go. Now this next game against Michigan, also big. Beat LSU. He finishes out with the number 2 recruiting class. We need to continue to like hype this up. Don't let this fact right here go unnoticed. For Coach Kaylen DeBoer to be able to take over for the greatest coach of all time and to still continue to operate recruiting at the highest level is still such an impressive fact to me, because that tells me that he's still being able to sell Alabama to the next wave of these 5 stars, right? The next, like you got the number 1 play. Think about the 2 guys that you brought in. He brought in Keelan Russell this year, and he brought in Ryan Williams when he just got here. Like, never forget about those 2 things. What if Coach Kaylen DeBoer isn't able to get Ryan Williams? Ryan Williams believed in Coach Kaylen DeBoer, understood the philosophy, okay? If Coach Kaylen DeBoer doesn't get Ryan Williams, who knows how this season goes? If Coach Kaylen DeBoer doesn't finish it, imagine this. This is when you would have known that Coach Kaylen DeBoer wasn't like the right guy for the job. If Coach Kaylen DeBoer doesn't make the playoffs and he finishes with like a number 20 recruiting class, because that would have told you that the kids the agents, the handlers, that they're not seeing Alabama as a premier program anymore. That's not the case, right? Like, they are still seeing Alabama as a high brand. This is still a place that you want to go to. And while, yeah, you can see, a change in culture and guys doing different things. Alabama, like, Coach Kalen DeBoer still wants Alabama to be Alabama, 1,000,000%. And don't lose sight of that number 2 recruiting class. Like, if you get frustrated with this team, no matter what happens in the Rely Quest Bowl, sleep on the fact that you got the number 2 recruiting class. Honestly, don't lose sight of that, and think about and just count your lucky stars that they signed Ryan Williams. Because Ryan Williams, like, don't mess around with it. You could be like, oh, the guys, doing this and that. No. Ryan Williams is like the guy that can continue to sell Alabama branding, but is also straight up probably the best player that Alabama's had in quite some time. And you know how old he is. All right, see, we got Coach Kane Womack. I actually like that hoodie that he's wearing.
So Hugh is asking, will Alabama have a defense next year?
No, they're just they'll go grass basketball. This is a fun graphic that I put together. And it kind of showcases the Alabama defense at a snapshot. Now, what we have here is you have Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. How do you guys feel about that combination for next year? I feel pretty good about it, to be honest, because I think while Keon Sabb, I kind of felt he started out really hot and then he kind of plateaued and then maybe started going the opposite direction. I don't know. That's just kind of my take. And then the poor dude got hurt. Bray Hubbard has been way better than I thought he was going to. I knew that Bray Hubbard would be a hard hitter. I just didn't know like that Bray Hubbard would be a program changer. Like, Bray Hubbard is like the guy. Okay. So I didn't know he's going to be that good. We still haven't seen Drake Kirkpatrick and too much of King Mac. The Husky position, that's why I was talking like earlier in the show. Maybe Jaylen Bak could battle with these guys for that Husky position. Xavier Brown, that guy's only a freshman. Down here at the bottom of the screen, when you're looking at the other corners, Cam Calhoun, Deshaun Jones, Zay Mincy, or Dejon Lee. This is kind of an anticipation that Damani Jackson goes to the NFL. Now, if Damani comes back, that is – think about this. If Damani comes back, I go Xavier Brown at corner, I go Damani Jackson at corner, and I put Cam Calhoun at the nickel position or that Husky. And then I'm feeling really good about the secondary. Because right now, look, I got respect for Red Morgan. He's just in development. The poor guy's out there as a freshman playing Husky position. Inside linebackers feel a little bit better now that you got Nikai Greenhill in, and then Band-Aid position, I don't know, battle right there with Kelby Collins, Jordan Renard, Keon Keeley. Plain Truth, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Sab, more of a ball hawk than Malachi. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Like, Malachi, that guy, man, he had a nose for the ball. He hit hard, and he kind of was everywhere. Like, Malachi was a player. He had a lot of turnovers during his career. And I'll always remember Malachi for the way he played against Auburn. But Malachi's a ball hawk too. He was a lot of, let's see, can we look up how many interceptions that Malachi had this season and last season? But I appreciate the feedback, Plain Truth. Thanks for being here, man. Joe Kroom's talking about Okoronkwo at the linebacker position. 1,000,000%. That guy's it. And then you don't forget about Kadyn Jones too. He's really good. And I don't know what are we to make of Jeremiah Alexander? Is he like a late bloomer? Does he not have it talent-wise? I don't know. Maybe he just hasn't had an opportunity. I don't know. Randy Smiley, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Mike Ford needs a new phone. I hope you get that new phone. Wade's World, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Okay, so that's kind of a look at your Alabama defense. It's a snapshot. Maybe another guy comes in. Sometimes when I look to the Alabama defensive front, I have questions behind Tim Keenan, James Smith, Quay, Rusa at the Wolf position, along with Yanzi Pierre, Noah Carter, Justin Hill, maybe Cavante Henry. I have questions about the defense, but the reason I started feeling better about the defense as the season went on was two reasons. Number one, I don't know why this happened, but when Bray Hubbard started playing back there, it seems like the coverage got better. It just seemed like that. It didn't seem like they were getting beat as bad. And then the other thing is, if you really dive into the stats and see that how many turnovers Alabama forced, they forced a ton. I think they finished like top 5 in the country in forced turnovers. Randy, that's what's up. Listening to R&B music. You know, one of the great channels on YouTube to go listen to is basically there's just like this it's an R&B channel that just plays hip hop. There's no music. You guys know what I'm saying? Who does this? Alabama Superfan. What's up? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. So yeah, there was a lot of turnovers on defense. All right. How about this one, T? I don't even know who asked this question, so my bad. It's related to the running backs.
Yeah. Does Katie plan on using the run game, or perhaps want to go with more of a pass attack? Hopefully, we'll also have the empty wide receiver spot filled. As
I was saying earlier in the show, the show seems like for the last couple of days it's just been all about the wide receivers. I want to showcase this. This is Jan Miller on here. Okay, so what I have right here is a graphic from ESPN on Dillon Johnson. Dillon Johnson was the running back in that 2023 Washington offense. Okay. So when you think about Michael Penix, who, by the way, played for the Falcons yesterday, and I'm glad that I didn't start him. You know who I've been rolling with on my fantasy team for my quarterback has been Cooper Rush, the Cowboys' backup. The Cowboys should have paid him $250, and Dak, he should be, I don't know, he should be hitting the transfer portal for somewhere else. Dak isn't it, but Cooper Rush, I'm not even a Cowboys fan. But, yo, he's been cooking. All right, so Dillon Johnson, all right, is a running back at Alabama, and during 2023, well, you have Michael Penix, who threw 550 attempts, and you have all these receivers that caught for all these yards. Look at Dillon Johnson, how much he got fed in this offense, okay? Now, was it a 2-platoon back? Not necessarily. They fed one running back. Now, you're going to have to feed Richard Young as well, but let's just say this is Jan Miller, okay? Look, 11 carries in the title game only because he got injured. This is Dillon Johnson we're looking at. He got injured in this game. But before that, 21 carries, okay? 28 carries, 21, 16, 23, 26, 18, 20, 16, 10. I think that's the vision for the running back here. Now, can that be split up by two running backs? Probably so. And Alabama has the running backs to do that. Washington did not. Washington had a big gap between Dillon Johnson and their second running back. Alabama doesn't, right? Jam, Richard, each of those guys can keep fresh and keep a lot of carries. But I know this graph probably surprised you, because when you think to Coach Kalen DeBoer's offense, you're like, oh, Michael Penix, all they're going to do is throw it. No, they're not. It's a balanced approach. Now, you have to keep time of possession. You have to work the field. But look at, that's a lot of production. It's a lot of production for one season for a running back. And if you saw this and you didn't know what team it was, you would be like, wow, this team just ran the football. That's how balanced Washington was. And that's why I keep saying this is the offense that I would imagine he wants to run this year. Now, you have to have tackles that can continue to do that. But I thought this was an interesting graphic that showed up with the running game. So when you look to Coach Kalen DeBoer, I think this is the philosophy. All right. We got another question coming in, T.
Josh is asking if there's any logical reason for the SEC to go to a 9-conference schedule.
No, I appreciate the question, but no. I mean, these guys are already being penalized off playing 8. If they played one more, that would just be one more challenging game for Alabama or Ole Miss or Tennessee. I said this a couple days ago. The thing that's hurting Alabama right now is the fact all these teams is they're in the SEC. You get these massive TV contracts, but it's taking you out of the playoffs. And then I didn't post this question inside the comment box, but it's actually putting the SEC teams on the road. Like, look at Tennessee. Like, they were on the road, right? Texas got to host, of course, because where they finished out. But the point is the amount of games that you lose in the SEC is only going to hurt you. So adding another game, I think, would be a step backwards for the SEC. And then Hog 84.
Yeah, Hog just wants to know if we suck again.
I saw this. I was laughing. No, like I don't think Alabama sucked this year. I think it was a new world to get used to. And I think there's a lot of different things because of the coaching takeover that you wanted to see. And there was, reasons to be critical of Kalen DeBoer for this or that. There was a lot of bright spots as well. The schedule was hard. This other schedule is going to be harder than last year. So I don't think Alabama sucked. I think Alabama took a step back. How could you not, following all the changes? How could you not take a step back in the parity? How could you not take a step back with the new rules of college football? Now that your roster can get picked apart from the transfer portal, you're going to take a step back. It's up to Coach Kalen DeBoer's job to, have a stronger year 2025. I don't think Alabama sucks. I think this team's going to be really good. Just showed you all the stars and all the players that are, at different positions. But the schedule's hard. I mean, this is a schedule that doesn't do Alabama justice. Like, this is not Oregon's schedule. This is not Indiana's schedule. This is a hard schedule. And Greg Byrne and Nick Saban, when they were piecing these schedules together back, years ago, thought that strength of schedule would help this team prepare for the playoffs. I don't think that they thought that strength of schedule would keep them out of the playoffs. So I don't think that this team sucked this year. I just don't think that, I think it's going to be hard to make the playoffs regardless for SEC teams. All right, so we got Kenny Dillingham on the screen.
The Bone Crusher question. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So Bone Crusher is asking, what do you think about conference champions getting first round buys?
I think it's ridiculous. The whole playoff system is ridiculous. Like, let me ask you inside the comment box, undefeated. Listen up, eyes up. Where did you enjoy any of those playoff games? Honestly.
Yeah, no.
Did you seriously? I think the only thing that we enjoyed was and it was weird because Ohio State, when they were beating the brakes off Tennessee, we don't like Ohio State. Tennessee is don't like Tennessee. But then we're like, oh, Tennessee beat us. And then you were looking at SMU and you're like, we knew that was going to happen. Look, in this next coming game, what is it? Is you have some major, Boise State and Arizona State. Arizona State, think about this, got a first round bye for winning the Big 12. Texas is a 2-touchdown favorite in this next game. That is how wrong that is. I love Arizona State. This storyline is cool. I've told you, I like this coach. But them getting a bye, come on, where were these guys finishing the SEC? I'm always going to say that. You want to compete in the playoffs? Come compete in the SEC first. No, none of these programs could compete in the SEC on a weekly basis. They couldn't. But it was nice to see SMU lose like they did. Even though I don't even like Penn State. It was just it's come on, Boise, really? That. This is wrong. It's wrong. It doesn't feel good. All right, T. You got SMU.
Okay, so I'm not sure how to say this. I'm going to call you Mac. Mac wants to know, how do you feel about
SMU? I was going to say, is it Marachi?
Macare? Macy Ray, probably. Oh my God. Anyways, how do you feel about SMU getting blown out in the playoffs?
It was amazing. That was the best thing about this weekend. No. It was the second best thing. The best thing was Coach Saban, Indiana Saban, or Alabama Jones. That was the best thing about the weekend. And then after it was SMU losing how they did. And then look, the part where what really made me mad after the ACC championship is when Dabo Swinney said that SMU was a playoff team. We were like, liar, you're lying. You know that's not a playoff team, and you know you're not a playoff team either. You just lost to South Carolina. So it was good to see SMU be beat by Penn State, how they were beaten too, getting the brakes beat off. And now what we're going to say, we're starting to build up data points, right? A couple of years ago, we told the committee, we're like, TCU is going to get embarrassed by Georgia. That happened. We said Penn State, who's also a pretender, is going to embarrass SMU. So at least we have some data points. But yeah, it was nice to see SMU lose. And then look, after the game, Rhett Lashley, I just wish, and I wish Coach Kalen DeBoer would say this too, but Rhett Lashley, I wish after the game he'd be like, you know what? We got our ass kicked. We did. Should we have been a playoff team? I don't know. These playoff rules are crazy. But what I do know is we just got our what's kicked. The only coach to say that this year was Luke Fickell. That was the only coach to really admit that they had been beat up and down the field. I just wish more coaches would say that.
I respected him for that.
Everybody did.
Taking that accountability on himself.
And guess what he's going to say after this next game against Alabama? He'd be like,
same thing.
Same thing. He's like, we went back to the whooping board. Just say, man, you can if you lose like that, say it. Don't be like, well, we didn't play our best football and we could have done this. No. Like, you got beat. Period. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is Peter Woods. I think people would love to see Peter Woods transferred to Alabama, right? Out of Alabaster, defensive lineman. He said, it was weird. And I think people are asking about this because after they lost, he said, thank you, Clemson. I don't think he's in the transfer portal. I don't know if he's going to go anywhere. He's talking about Peter Woods. Would Alabama welcome him? Probably. Hell yeah. I have no idea if this guy is even thinking about going to the transfer portal. He was a little bit banged up this past season. He's a hell of a player. Alabama would love to have Peter Woods, but I don't have any detail. Lil Ye. Now, I appreciate you, man. I always see you inside the comment box, by the way. So thank you so much. Quincy inside the comment box, man. What's up? I appreciate you, Max, Ricky Smith. But I think fans are excited to hear something on Peter Woods. I ain't seen that yet. I'd stay close to recruiting sites to see if they have anything on him. If that does, that would be like major. That we might have to go live for that. And then, is T my wife? That was a picture by Maroon Panther.
I didn't see that one in there.
Yeah, that's it. No, T is my girlfriend. So T just finished up her master's. She has 2 master's degrees. Okay. Look, this is my one jacket that I wear along with that other one. But T is my girlfriend. All right. So for all you out there and everyone's like, what does T look like? Here's T. Okay. So behind the beautiful voice, but T just finished up her 2nd master's degree. T.
I did.
What do you have your master's in?
So I have my master's in marketing and then just another one with a concentration in digital media.
Yeah. So when we started talking about, Bama football on YouTube and kind of the complexities about running a YouTube channel this size, it's really nice to link up with somebody who has kind of a business mind and comes from a business family and can kind of trade ideas in that sense. So, yeah, it's good. It's just like, now I kind of refer to it as like a mom and pop type business. Like we're not, we're not ESPN, we're not On3, just honestly, just getting by just like everybody else, but running a YouTube channel. But it is nice to have, go back and forth with somebody who understands kind of the business and the complexities. And T, I put a lot of time into it. I know you do too.
Absolutely.
But, if we're not hanging out with the kids, like I'm in grind mode constantly.
Yep.
So a lot of work put into it. So I appreciate you guys. But I know there's a lot of people that are always asking. So I personally like to keep stuff private, which you should. I mean, you see what happening to poor Travis Hunter right now. But I know a lot of guys have and people have asked about it. So just wanted to, put that out there. But T is great, 100%. Favorite holiday movie? Look, the other day, I love Home Alone, to be honest. I think it makes me feel good. I love Home Alone. My favorite movie all time, I know you didn't ask about my favorite movie all time, but it's Meet the Parents. I think that movie is so funny. I love Meet the Parents. I think it's like stupid comedy, but my favorite Christmas movie is probably Christmas Vacation. I just think it's stupid. It's so funny. It's like, Clark and everything that he does. And I think like the more that you become like a dad, you run into like stupid things that happen, when he's like going out with Russ to get like the Christmas tree and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's a bunch of them. Post your favorite Christmas movie inside the comment box. There's a lot of them. I mean, T, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Elf.
Elf's funny. Yeah. It's stupid funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, probably Elf.
All right. So post your favorite Christmas movie inside the comment box. See, like Uncle Eddie, like that's stupid. Even when they go out to Vegas and they have like Vegas vacation and they go to Europe. Oh, the Christmas Story. That's probably my favorite one.
Okay.
Thank you. That's my favorite.
Same.
Yeah. Friday After Next is out. Yeah. Bingo. We got action. Home Alone. I love Christmas Story. Damn it. I should have put that up. Wonderful Life. Home Alone 2. Home Alone 2 was good. And you can't say that a lot about sequels, but where we got in the track, when we went Home Alone 3, that wasn't it.
Well, that wasn't Macaulay Culkin, right? That was a new kid.
Panda Express, Polar Express. Yo, poke your eye out. Wonderful Life. I see a lot of that. Miracle on 34th Street. What's a pretty good movie too is Christmas with the Cranks. You ever seen Christmas with the Cranks?
I don't think so.
Christmas with Cranks is good.
And there's
Rudolph, of course, is really good.
Yeah, there's always the debate as to whether Con Air is a Christmas
Con Air
movie.
is an everyday movie. Con Air is fantastic. What's a Christmas movie like Con Air, is Die Hard. A lot of people watch Die Hard for Christmas.
Yes.
That's just Charlie Brown. Yes, Charlie Brown. That's a solid one. Lisa Luck, I see you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, maybe that's what I meant.
The Grinch. Yeah, Merry Christmas. All right, fam. Well, Mike Jones, what's up, man? What's up, Mike Jones? I love Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Kadyn inside the comment box saying Christmas Story. Yeah, of course, Christmas Story. I don't think there's going to be a change with the OC or DC. I know a lot of people have been asking about, like, is there a new OC? I don't think so. I think that these are going to be the guys that Coach Kalen DeBoer rocks with. Oh, and there was another one. Someone was asking about Ryan Grubb. I haven't seen him getting let go from Seattle. Would it be dream that he came back to Alabama and coach with Kalen DeBoer? I think so. But the rumor is that, his wife doesn't like Alabama. We have no idea if that. We never talked to his wife. But I know if you want a happy life, you need a happy wife. And if she doesn't want to move to Tuscaloosa, don't move to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, probably bad ideas.
But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here on the show today. As this happens, we got you covered on Bama Football on YouTube. Continued live shows throughout the holiday season. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. And, of course, a Happy New Year. So coming to you from beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico at my mother's house, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Please, be good people out there. Help those in need. Be good people. Enjoy the time that you have. Be where your feet are. And we'll catch you as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love you, fam. I hope you had a good – we changed the formatting of the show. I wanted to have you guys ask questions today. So hope you guys like the show. And, of course, we'll continue to rock it right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam. Take it easy.